Hi, welcome to Tailored by Naylor Creative Art Studio. I'm Jessica. Let's get started.
Okay, so today we're going to draw Cinnamoroll, eating a cinnamon roll on top of a cinnamon roll. Alright, so I'm going to start off by drawing her head. So her head is kind of like, I'm just going to start off drawing kind of a wide rainbow shape. It's kind of rounded at the edges like that. And then just kind of curve in both sides. And then bring it together down here, just like that. Alright, and I'm leaving space on both sides for her ears. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is just kind of give like an outline of where I want her, how big I want her body to be. So her body is smaller than her head. It's about right there. Alright, and then we're going to draw the cinnamon roll that she's eating. So I'm just going to start off by drawing a spiral like this. And then right about here is where I'm going to connect it and draw the icing for it. Just kind of drizzling down like that. And then connect it on the other side. Alright, so now that we have the top of our cinnamon roll and the icing, I'm just going to bring both sides down a little bit. And then curve it like this to give it the shape of a cinnamon roll. Alright, now her hands or her arms are going to be coming around to hold it. So I'm just going to draw a line, a diagonal line kind of on both sides, and then just curve it around. And I'm drawing with a pencil first because I want to make sure that things can overlap. So like her hand right here overlaps the cinnamon roll because she's holding it. Alright, then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. It's kind of a C shape. And then I'm just going to bring the line around right here to connect it. Like where her elbow would be. Like that. And then bring her hand down to the side of her body right here. And so, like I said, we're drawing with a pencil first so that later on, so I can erase all the things that are in the background and then leave the things or trace the things that are in the foreground that are, closer to us. All right, so then her feet, we're just gonna draw ovals, tall ovals. So like here's one foot, just a regular oval, kind of slanted to this side. And on this side, another oval, about the same size and shape, just like that. All right, and then we're just going to connect. I drew her body all the way down, but I'm not going to actually draw her that low. I'm just going to connect her body right here. All right, so here is our main shape for cinnamon roll. Here's the cinnamon roll that she's eating, and then she's also going to be sitting on top of a cinnamon roll. So I'm going to draw the outward circular shape. I'm going to draw the outward circular shape for the cinnamon roll, like the top part. And that'll give me a good idea of where I need my spiral, how big I need my spiral to be. All right. So now that I have the outside, the outside circular shape, or actually it's an oval shape, now I can come in. I want to start the spiral up here because it's actually going to go behind or under her like that. It would probably come about right there, and then it would come around probably about there. Maybe come out the other side and connect about right there. All right, and then we're doing the same thing we did up here for her small cinnamon roll. We're just bringing the icing down in a drizzle formation. I think I want to bring this drizzle down a little bit more, and then I'm just going to connect it right here on the side. All right, now for the side of the cinnamon roll, I really want to bring it, the icing is kind of hanging off, but if I could imagine the cinnamon roll shape is actually coming down about right there. And then I'm going to come down far enough where I can add a face on the cinnamon roll that she's sitting on. Alright, so about right there. Alright, so for the face of the cinnamon roll, I'm just going to add 2 big circles like this. Draw a smile on the inside. Draw a smaller circle like that on the inside of my larger circle. Do the same thing to this eye. Draw 2 small circles on the inside for highlight circles. Like that. And I'll add eyelashes later on when we color. Alright, so the last thing we need to do is finish Cinnamoroll. So she has 2 big floppy ears. I'm just gonna draw a curved line like that. And then bring it down. They're pretty oversized. And they get bigger at the bottom. Like that. And like I said, this is the best thing about drawing with pencils, is that we can come in and erase this part of the cinnamon roll later once we start tracing, or before we start tracing. And then I'm just bringing this back up behind her head. Alright, on this side, same thing. It's kind of like drawing 2 ponytails. So I'm drawing a curved line up like that, like a rainbow shape. Bringing it all the way down and flaring it out. Like that. Bottom of it needs to be about right there. And then just bringing it back up to go behind her head like that. All right, and then her eyes are very wide apart like this, and maybe the other one way over here. And then she has a mouth that is basically a sideways number 3, like that. We'll put that right on top of the cinnamon roll. And I think that's it for our pencil sketch of her. So over here in the tailor station, you can see different ways that you could tailor your cinnamon roll. This one, she's outside. I put the cinnamon roll on a plate. You can see the grass and clouds behind her. So of course you could tailor yours where you can put your Cinnamoroll in whatever environment you want it in. On this one, I just put her kind of in a warm kitchen maybe. She's on a wood, I guess, counter. And then the cinnamon roll is on top of that. And then I colored the background. Of course, you can always tailor yours to have whatever color background you want. Also on this Cinnamoroll, I added a bow to her hair. So you could also add a bow. All right, I think we'll add a bow to this one. And then on this one, same thing. And you can tailor your picture to have whatever background you want. And then on this cinnamon roll, I actually took a chunk out of the big cinnamon roll that she's sitting on, and that's the actual cinnamon roll that she's eating, instead of her own individual cinnamon roll. So you can tailor yours however you want to. Like I said, just remember, that's why I have the tailor station here for you, just to kind of give you ideas. But whenever you tailor yours to however you like it, I'm sure that you will be, the most happiest. All right, so adding the bow, I'm just adding a circle right here, and then of course just a bow shape. So I'm drawing a line that's kind of curved, slightly curved right here, then bringing another curve down like that, and then just connecting it to the circular shape. Then do the same thing on this side. Draw a curved line about the same length as that one. Bring it down with the same type of curve, and then just bring it back in like that. All right, so that is pretty much it, like I said, for our sketch drawing of it. And what we'll do now is I'll take an eraser and go in and erase all the overlaps. Okay, so now that we have everything erased that we need, we'll go ahead and start coloring. I was gonna black line it first, but it makes more sense to color it first because then once we do the black line, it'll help us make sure that all the edges are nice and crisp. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna switch to a time lapse of me coloring it, and then we'll come back and I'll black line it. Okay, so that is our Cinnamoroll, eating a cinnamon roll on top of a cinnamon roll, colored. And now all we have to do is come in with our black line and make everything kind of stand out. And this is one of my favorite parts because once you do the black line, it really makes it where you can see everything and it just looks more, I guess, refined. So you'll notice down here, like where the line is, it's not perfect. The coloring came out, I came out of the line on the coloring right here. And so whenever I go in and black line it, I will just make sure that I cover that little mess up, cover it up with a black line. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and come in right here with the black marker and just kind of start tracing everything with a black line. And this is where you can add any details that you want, like the folds on her bow. All right, also if I wanted to make her fur look scruffy, I could start adding in like little fur lines on her ears or anything like that. Did you know that Cinnamoroll is actually a dog, not a bunny? Even though she has big floppy ears, she is a dog that lived in the clouds and then she fell down to earth. And the reason that she is called Cinnamoroll is because her tail is actually shaped like a cinnamon roll. All right, and so I'm just going to continue on with black lining the cinnamon roll down here. And you can already see how the black line is making things look a little bit more pristine or crisp. It separates the colors, it separates the different parts of whatever you're drawing. And it just really makes everything kind of stand out. All right, so down here, I'm just gonna go in and trace the bottom of the cinnamon roll, add details like her mouth. Then I'm gonna come in to the eyes and trace those and color the pupils in black, leaving the two white highlighting circles in the middle of both of the pupils. I think that gives it kind of a cute look. All right, then do the same thing over here to the other eye, just coloring in those pupils. And I think that we are done with the eyes, and don't forget about her mouth up here and her eyes. All right, the last thing is we're gonna draw eyelashes on our cinnamon roll. So where we didn't have to draw them at first, I think 2 is good. We didn't have to draw them with a pencil at first, but we can come in with our marker and draw them on the final draft. So that is it for our Cinnamoroll, eating a cinnamon roll on top of a cinnamon roll. If you like this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any Tailored by Naylor videos. Bye!